Welcome to the Libra Love Lounge, the show where I read posts on Reddit and give them relationship advice. My name's Eliana Camargo, and let's jump into the first post. How do I move on from a lost soulmate? We never dated, but my heart still aches for him over 1.5 years later. I've come to realize recently that he was my first romantic soulmate. Oof, I have been here before, hurting 1.5 years later over someone. We did date, but only for a month. I understand the pain. Sometimes it can hurt so much worse. The heartache of losing someone can be so much worse when it's someone that you never actually got into a relationship with, because you always have that like fantasy in your mind of what could have been. Whereas when you're in a relationship and it ends, you see it play out and you see the downfall, and so like it makes sense why it's ending. So it still hurts, but like it hurts more when there's like that fantasy that never got fulfilled. But anyway, we didn't really talk all that much, but I felt so connected to him when we did. And I really do believe that we loved each other, but it just wasn't the right time. I wanna know more about how they never dated, but they love each other. I wanna know the details of this. He felt like home every second we talked and we were in the same room. He felt like peace at the time. He felt like love. I had never felt a romantic and soulful connection with a man at that point. I have definitely felt this way before. We cut off all contact from each other due to various reasons, but I really do think I will love him forever. Yet I know that I have to let go of him. It's terrible because I just want to be with other guys who have aspects of him, and it makes me so sad. He was all I wanted, and he still is. I loved him. I really did. And clearly it seems like some aspects of my soul is still tied to him. What can I do spiritually to move on? How do I cut the soul tie? Edit, twin flame might be a better word. Either way, there was a very strong connection. Okay, this gets me in my feels. I very much believe in twin flames. I don't know how much I want to talk about that on the internet. So I very much believe in soulmates. I believe that we all have multiple soulmates in our life, and not all soulmates are romantic. Some soulmates are platonic, some are mentors, some are family, friends, whatever. Some are romantic. Some are meant to be in our life for a season, some are meant to be in our life for a lifetime. There's all kinds. We all have multiple soulmates. You know, they don't come into our life all the time, but when we do, it's like a very profound energetic connection. A twin flame is in short, I'm gonna put this very briefly in very short definition of what twin flames are. It's a type of soulmate connection. Your purpose to come into each other's lives is to trigger each other and to cause heartbreak. It does not end up forming into a relationship, at least upon the first meeting. You're meant to go into separation, and that separation is supposed to trigger a spiritual awakening within you, because in Buddhism, they believe that sometimes heartbreak and other really painful traumatic events can be so painful that it triggers a spiritual awakening in us. Entire purpose of twin flames is not romantic. It's to teach us self-love and to teach us to come back to ourselves and to heal our attachment style. Typically, if someone's writing a post like this, they're more anxiously attached versus their twin flame who leaves is more dismissive, avoidant. They don't really give as many fucks when they leave. And it's to trigger both of them to heal. The anxiously attached one happens first. It's an incredibly, incredibly painful experience because when you meet them, it's love at first sight. It's feeling so peaceful and so at home with this person. Your ego, your human self wants nothing more than to be in a relationship with them. That's not the purpose of the connection. The connection is for separation, to trigger you so that you can heal, so that you can learn self-love, you can become less attached to needing romance in your life. There's all kinds of lessons that we can learn if you are so unfortunate to meet a twin flame in your life. I say unfortunate jokingly. Unfortunate for the human egoic self because it's freaking painful. Very fortunate for your soul self because it leads to an immense level of expansion and growth. So I do have a lot of experience in this area, and I can tell you that you will not be hurting forever. There will come a time where you are capable of letting him go and opening your heart to new people and not feeling like you need this specific person in order to get into a relationship. It may take a long time. It's definitely possible. My advice for you is, if it is a twin flame, there is no cutting the soul tie. You know, there's like meditations that are on YouTube and cut soul ties with people to kind of clear your energy, your energetic field of anytime you interact with anybody, they leave a little piece of energy kind of in your energetic field, so it kind of like cleanses you from them. But with a twin flame, that's not really possible because you're just kind of permanently connected. But you have to come to terms with the fact you are the one that you seek. You are the only love that you need in your life. Obviously, romance is nice, and you absolutely can have a relationship with someone who feels completely aligned and makes you feel peaceful and at home. But right now in your journey is to learn, first and foremost, the foundation that you need before you can have a romance like that is true self-love, being connected to yourself, being connected to the divine, and recognizing the reason why you felt such a strong connection with your twin flame is because... Why am I like dancing around trying to go deep into the esoteric of this? Because I don't know how much I want this channel to be esoteric, but that's who I am. I guess maybe it's time. It's time. The theory is that twin flames are your same soul incarnated in another body at the same time. Like, for example, if you believe in reincarnation, as I do, we spend multiple timelines on Earth in different bodies. But time is not linear. It's perceived as linear to our human egoic selves, but in a spiritual sense, time is not linear. And so theoretically, it's possible that you could be incarnated on Earth twice with the same soul. And so the reason why it feels so right and so connected and so at home when you're with this person is because you found the other half of your soul. It's not a half. Your soul is a whole thing. It's not a half, but in human terms, the other half of your soul, and you feel completed in that moment. In order to stop the pain of separation, you have to find connection with your own soul and find that wholeness within you and connect to the divine, because your soul is just an extension of divine source consciousness. The way that I like to view it is it's like God, the universe, divine energy is like a sun or a star, and the rays of the sun are each individual person that's incarnated on Earth. So you are like a finger of the sun, a finger of the divine. You are a piece of it. And so connecting with your soul is connecting with the divine. And when you connect with it, you then feel whole and complete and happy and loved, because divine consciousness is love energy. In order to connect with your soul, you have to quiet the mind. I highly, highly, highly recommend reading the book, The Power of Now, by Eckhart Tolle. By Eckhart Tolle, I think is how you'd pronounce it in German, because it really teaches you how to be the observer of the mind. So many people are caught up in their egoic identity where they believe they are their mind, like the quote, "I think, therefore I am." Completely disagree with that quote. I am, therefore I am. And I also am the observer of my thoughts, but I am not my thoughts. Meditating daily, becoming the observer of your thoughts, quieting the mind, and going deep into meditation and connecting with divine consciousness, with samadhi, with the feeling of Zen, will really help you connect to the feeling that you're craving from this other person, because you'll find it within yourself. So this might have all been very esoteric, and I'm not sure how helpful this will be for everybody, but hopefully the right people who need to find this will, because I've been here before and I've lived to tell the tale. 3.5 years out took me until about now. Like, it took me about 1.5 years to stop aching so deeply in my heart for this person. And I want to say it took another 2 years to finally be like, okay, I'm open to meeting the love of my life who doesn't have to be this person. You can't make people choose you. I'm curious to know the details, the story that OP is telling. Like, a part of me is like, does he know how deeply you feel about him? Like, I think it'd be really cathartic to tell him how deeply you feel, so that, maybe if there's a chance that would change things. I don't know what the circumstances are of why he's not in your life anymore, but if it is a twin flame, it's not going to change things, but it could still be cathartic. I did the same thing with mine, the guy that I'm speaking of, where actually almost 2 years ago to the day on 11/11/2020, or I guess that's 3 years. Oh my goodness. Essentially told him that I loved him without saying those words. It didn't change anything, but it felt really nice to know, like, okay, I did everything that I could. Now it's time to let him go. Very important. One immense lesson, the twin flame journey, is learning unconditional love. Unconditional love is loving someone without conditions. You can love someone and not be in a relationship with them. You can love someone and never have them be in your life again. And you have to learn to be okay and accept and honor the feelings of love that you have in your heart. Like OP said that she thinks she's gonna love him forever. You probably will. And that's okay. You can love someone and not be with them, and also not want to be with them eventually when you get there. And that's been an incredibly invaluable lesson that carries on to many other aspects of life. When you learn that it's okay to have feelings for someone, and it's okay to let yourself have those feelings, and it's okay to not act on them and not need to act on them. Just accept them and let them be there. Super, super, super important lesson to learn. Let's see what the comments have to say. There's only one way: grieve fully. That's another component. Is there's the one aspect of connecting with your own soul to feel that feeling of being whole and complete within yourself, but you're still human and you have emotions, and there's gonna be ups and downs. There's 100% going to be ups and downs, and there's gonna be days where your heart fucking hurts and it aches so freaking badly, and that's okay. Let yourself experience that. Let yourself grieve. Give yourself love and compassion when you're feeling that way. Journal. Get to some of your root beliefs and feelings of you're crying because you feel unworthy, you're crying because you feel like the universe is punishing you, and by taking this amazing man out of your life, really get to the core root of those beliefs and then flip them. Tell yourself affirmations every day that oppose those limiting beliefs that are coming up. But 100% let yourself hurt. You're just gonna have to go through it, and time heals all, but unfortunately right now you have to hurt. and that's okay. OP responds, you're right. I'm trying to process the emotions of loss and grief and heartbreak that I've kind of tucked away for the past year and a half. I'm really trying to make a conscious effort to release him from my soul. Yeah, you can't spiritually bypass your emotions and be like, oh, well, let's just be zen and love and accept that I love him, but he's not in my life and that's okay. Like that's a component of it, but you also have to do the emotional healing component of releasing the emotions. There's no way you can escape it. There's no way you can logic your way out of it and be like, I never even dated him. I should be over him. It's been a year and a half. I should be over him. When it's a divine connection like this, sometimes it doesn't make sense and that's okay. And you have to let yourself grieve and feel the emotions of it. Wow, I never expected to talk about twin flames on here, but I guess it's time. I guess I'm ready because I've experienced this, learned a lot from it. So people might think I'm crazy. I did not believe in this shit at all until I met my twin flame. I didn't even believe in soulmates whatsoever, but he sparked my spiritual awakening and I learned that it's very much true. And every time I tried to deny that he was my twin flame, the universe would shove down my throat that he is indeed my twin flame. And that's okay. He can be my twin flame and he can also not be in my life. And I'm so ready to call in somebody new into my life. But anyway, if you don't believe in all these concepts, that's okay. But the core truth of you need to learn self-love is universal. It doesn't matter what labels we put on these people and get us to learn the lesson of self-love. But on that note, let's move on to the next post. It'll probably be a very different vibe and very much less esoteric, but let's find out. 2 years never met and it feels like it's gonna be forever. I'm tired of waiting. It feels like it's gonna stay this way forever. We're both still in school and finishing in 2 years. I don't like doing things that are pointless or have no good ending or purpose. I don't wanna waste either of our time, energy, and maybe even opportunities too. Realistically speaking, maybe we can meet in 3 years. So that'd be 2025 or 2026. I wonder why. I'm curious if it's financial or time-wise. Like, if you have a will, if there's a will, there's a way. I feel like maybe there's options you haven't looked into and then you could finally meet. But that'd mean we'd be 5 years never met. Oh my God, imagine dating someone long distance and you've never met them in person for 5 years. That's too much. I already don't, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around the concept of meeting someone, I'm assuming like online, starting a long distance relationship without ever having met them, but to go like that long, those are both, it's just crazy to me. What if after we met, things doesn't seem as good and compatible as it has been from a distance? What if he doesn't like how I look? Or what if I seem like I behave weirdly to him and he doesn't love me anymore? Not to add to your fears, but I definitely have experienced getting to know people online or like people that I've met in person, but like the bulk of getting to know each other has been like over text, for example. And I have learned the hard way. Just because someone is great over text does not mean that you're compatible or that you feel the chemistry or that it's that smooth or easy in person whatsoever. And so these days I very much try to limit getting to know people over text and wait to get to know them in person because I don't want to create this false narrative in my mind that that we have this chemistry that doesn't actually exist. So not to scare her, but like realistically, this does happen. It's very possible. And even I'm assuming that they've probably like video chat, and so that helps get a little bit more of a vibe. But even over video chat, people in person can be so different over video chat. So it might not even be like him not liking how you look or behaving weirdly, but just like the vibes might be different when you're actually in person or your mannerisms, things like that. We broke up once after 1.5 years because I sent him 5 gifts and he didn't send me any. So I felt like he wasn't putting as much effort as I had. That's a very interesting reason to break up. And the fact that y'all have already broken up was also very telling. I tried looking for other guys and got to know one guy, also online, but it didn't get very far. Really just some video/voice calls and corny flirty jokes. Didn't feel the connection, ended things with that dude, got back together with boyfriend. I just accepted that I won't receive gifts from him until we meet. And I do feel the connection with him because we're so similar even in terms of life goals, values, and preferences. Did he start sending you gifts after this happened? I'm curious what his like reason is. You know, gifts might be his very bottom love language and it might be very higher on the tier of love languages for you. I'm curious to know if you've communicated about love languages with him, but is it like a financial restraint? Because if so, then, you know, shipping long distance can be really expensive. So I'm curious what the reasons are of why he hasn't met this desire of yours and if he's changed since getting back together. I've also never felt so comfortable and open with someone as I have with him. It feels like he's my best friend and or soulmate. I also didn't want to lose the only person I have in my life outside my family who's been there for me and loves me no matter what. But not long after that, I was browsing on Reddit for a bit on dating subs and wanted to post/look for other guys again, but stopped myself from doing that, and I confessed about it to him and apologized. So you broke up with him because he wasn't sending you gifts. He didn't break up with you because you were looking for other men while you were in a relationship with him. Ooh, that's pretty screwed up. I'm definitely of the belief that if you have a straying eye, it's a sign that something's very wrong in your relationship or that you're just like not in the right relationship. And it's a sign from the universe that like, maybe you should let this person go, that you actually want something else. Now that I started my 2-year program, I recently got attracted to a guy in my program, but I've never talked to him. I also don't think that anything's gonna happen, even if I approached him and said hi, but I still feel guilty for this and have confessed about this too, especially since he started teaching me and helping me with my assignments now because we're studying similar programs. Well, your boyfriend's helping you study, or this new guy that you're attracted to is helping you study? Because you said you've never talked to him. I think teaching me is a better gift than physical gifts. Okay, so it is boyfriend. But there are times when I still want something real that I can hold in my hands to remember that he's real and not just some 2D AI guy in my screen. Oh God, what if this is like, so you always hear stories of people getting into long distance relationships and then it ends up being like a total catfish and it's like some 60-year-old weirdo. I hope that's not the case here. After I confessed, he said, well, you've always told me that if I ever found anyone in real life to just go for her. So go for it if you want. He's even letting you go. He's giving you permission to leave. It sounds like y'all shouldn't be together in a relationship. It sounds like you're just with him because he's the first person who's showing you love and like you're wanted, but you can find that locally. You can. Maybe to some people, all of these don't count as cheating, but I feel guilty and it seems like emotional cheating. It definitely is in the realm of cheating for sure. Or perhaps I'm just not feeling fulfilled in this relationship. Why'd she put relationship in quotes? He's her boyfriend. And she's definitely not feeling fulfilled. That is true also. That's why there's emotional cheating. Whatever the reason or excuse is, I've always thought that I'd be super loyal when I start dating someone, and I'm disappointed in myself that I haven't been as loyal as I'd like to be. Maybe it's also because I'm the type who'd rather just talk to one guy at a time, the guy I'm seeing, and not have any other guy friend. Yeah, typically how it goes. I want to feel the hug, his hand holding mine, being in each other's arms. I want to know and feel how cuddling is like, how going on a date is like. If it's not clear already, I've never dated anyone in real life and I'm already 25. I've never been asked out or confessed to either. I was the one who confessed first and asked him if he wanted to be my boyfriend. He could finish his diploma program this December and take a few final exams next year, but he decided to extend his program to get the full degree for another 2 years. I want to be a supportive girlfriend, so of course I'm rooting for him either way, but you know what they say about people taking a master's degree? Some of them are there to get a better salary and their company's paying for their masters. There's still some people who are there because they couldn't land a job after bachelor's, or they're still not ready to step into the real world. So I'm not sure what to think here. About 4 to 6 months ago, he said that he just wanted to start working already, but now he's taking the full 5-year program instead of 3. Asked him why, and he said he ended up enjoying studying his program more. He sure is into academics and theories. He enjoys teaching too. I don't know why she's thinking so much about why he's extending his master's, other than the fact that of course it's delaying coming together in person, so that sucks. I don't know, I think it makes sense. Master's, if he wants to get his master's, that seems like a good thing to me. He's always been so accepting, patient, and understanding with me. I feel unworthy of his love if I keep doing this. I don't know if I should break up again and let him go, although he's always said no one's gonna come around to him anyway. Oh, it sounds like both of them have massive worth issues, which is probably why they got into this long distance relationship in the first place. But just the thought of it makes me cry, and I feel like if we broke up again this time, there's no coming back. I can't do this anymore. What should I do? P.S. We text and or video call every day, and we keep each other up to date about where we are, what we've got going on, even what we're eating, etc. And there's an edit. I'm not mad about him wanting to take another 2 years for his degree. I'd rather him do that than regret it later in life and hate me for it. He said he'll try to find an internship next year and start saving up to visit me. He has visa to visit me, but I don't have the visa to visit him. And I just moved to another country for my program. We want to move to the country I'm studying in. If I graduated and managed to get a job in PR, I can sponsor him for a PR too and help him move. And I've been worried about passing and actually finishing my program, but he said that if it all fails, maybe I can either try to stay here by getting a job instead, or I can just go to his country and we'll figure something out. So it sounds like there are options to meet each other, but it sounds like they want to jump straight into like moving to each other's country instead of like, let's visit each other first. If you're really serious about this guy, I would try and prioritize, like, if you want to see him in person, I bet you there's ways that you could find the money to see each other in person. I bet you could manifest it, you could make it happen. But I think this goes beyond that. You know that you want a physical relationship. I think you deserve a physical relationship. I think we all deserve, if physical touch is one of our needs, that's an incredibly important part and a big aspect of a relationship. Just like holding hands and cuddling and just seeing each other in person and talking in real life instead of over video chat. There's people that you're interested in. This part of you keeps wanting to pursue finding other people, and I kind of feel like you should let yourself yourself have that. Like, it sounds like you have limiting beliefs about your worth. You feel unworthy of his love. He also feels like no one's gonna find him or no one's gonna want him if y'all break up. I think that's why y'all were a match for each other, because you both feel unworthy. You feel unworthy of a real relationship, found yourself in a long distance relationship with someone that you've never met before. I would really, really work on the limiting beliefs that you have. Like, take a moment, do some shadow work, journal, and write down all the limiting beliefs that you have about relationships, about your worth, about no one wanting to find you desirable, how you feel like because in 25 years you've never had someone ask you out or confess feelings for you, that means that it's never gonna happen, things like that. Flip all those beliefs into affirmations that you tell yourself every day to reprogram your brain to know that you're worthy, and start looking for examples of that in real life. Like, at one point, I'm sure you thought you'd never get into a relationship, and now here you are in one with somebody that really appreciates and loves you. You can find that again. So if I were in this case, in this situation, I feel like it makes more sense to break up. Like, if you've been searching elsewhere already, it kind of sounds like you want to explore and experience other things in real life. So even though it's hard, all breakups are, especially when it's someone that's a kind, good person, it's always hard, but you get through it. You absolutely get through it, and you absolutely can find somebody again. And I think it's worth it just to increase your confidence and your self-concept that you can find a relationship in real life and have real relationship where you can actually go on dates and do physical things together, and someone who will buy you gifts, because that seems like that's one of your love languages. You know, maybe if you guys really are soulmates and you want to be together in the long term, when y'all are graduated and you have good jobs, maybe you could schedule a visit and meet each other in person and catch up, and maybe you will get together again if that's what's meant to be. I truly believe that what's meant to be yours won't pass you by. If you give it up to the universe, if that's in your divine path that you guys are meant to be together, then you will. But in the meantime, I don't think it would be so bad to get some experience elsewhere and work on your confidence and increase your confidence by letting yourself have the experience of having a relationship in real life. That's my advice. I know you might not want to hear it. I think you deserve to have a real life relationship, because that's what your heart's telling you. That's what your heart is telling you, that you want that and you deserve that. That's what I would do. Okay, moving on to the next post. Do I reach out to him or not? There's this guy from university I find extremely attractive. I've seen a few times over the course of a few months. We made some awkward eye contact, but we've never spoken. He's older and does different classes, so I don't see him often, and I'm shy and too uncomfortable to approach him in person. I do know his name. He does have Instagram. Would it be awkward if I reached out through DMs since we've never spoken? If yes, how do I go about it? Well, it's kind of cute. I think it would be better to try to approach him in person. And I know you're shy and uncomfortable, but the way that you overcome being shy is by being brave, feeling the fear and doing it anyway. You know, taking some baby steps. Maybe next time you see him, like, find some excuse, speak with him. Like, oh, I liked your jacket. It's cute. It looks good on you. Some like little compliment like that on not even his physical appearance, but I think it usually works better to compliment someone's style, because that's something that they chose, whereas their physical appearance is not really controlled by them. So I think it oftentimes means more when it's like, oh, that's you're appreciating a choice that I made. I don't know if that makes sense. Find some excuse to speak with him. If you really can't do it, or it's just like y'all are just passing by in the hallway and there's not really a moment to speak with him, I don't think it would be the end of the world to message him on Instagram. I think he would be flattered. I think he'd find it cute, and just message him and be like, hey, I think we go to the same college. I've noticed you around and I've always wanted to say hi. Maybe he's into shy girls and you could be like, I was just too nervous to come up to you, so I wanted to message you. He might find that cute. Or if you want to go more of a confident route, just be like, I've seen you around. Yeah, just let him know that you think he's cute. You've seen him around, and so you wanted to message him, that he popped up on your Instagram or whatever. Or don't even mention how you found his Instagram, because that can go down like creepy routes. Just don't acknowledge that part. The key here is to be detached and let go, and know that there's always a chance that he's gonna reject you. He might be already taken. He might not be interested. He might think that it's creepy, and that's okay. With all of those options, there's still probably gonna be a part of him that's flattered. When I tell people that I find them attractive or that I like them or whatever, I always have the mindset of, I'm doing this to like give them a gift for their ego. Do it as an act of self-love for myself by honoring my feelings and taking a chance that my heart wants fulfilled, giving them some love for their ego, feeding their ego by letting them know that I find them attractive. And know that if that's all that happens, I'm just giving them a gift for their ego and they reject me, that's okay. I did my best, listened to my heart, and took action. I like this person. I would gladly love to give them some flattery by letting them know that I find them attractive. But it's okay if you're rejected. Like, it might sting a little bit, it might be a little bit embarrassing, but you'll get over it. Don't let it mean anything about you. Don't let it mean that like, oh, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not this or that. There's a million reasons why you might not like someone. Like, you don't like every person on earth, even if they're an attractive person who has like a good personality, you just don't feel the vibes with everybody. And it's nothing personal against them. Like plenty of other people who will find them attractive. Remind that about yourself. If you do get rejected, it doesn't mean anything about you. There will be other people that you find attractive who also like you back. Yeah, so completely detach from the outcome. Don't let yourself get so heartbroken. He rejects you. Don't expect it to mean that he's gonna immediately ask you out. Just give him the gift for his ego, and if he ends up reciprocating, then that's beautiful. I think you owe it to yourself to either get the balls to approach him in person, or I don't think it's that weird to message him on Instagram. Let's see what the comments have to say. And just follow him and see if he follows back. Oh yeah, I didn't even y'all should probably be following each other first. That's one step. If he does, then the next phase would be to see if he either reaches out on his own, or see if he hearts your story or reaches out once you post something. Or you could just make the first move and DM him first. That depends on if you're cool with approaching guys first. I'm not, because I find that as a girl, it doesn't work for me to be the first to make a move on a guy, but that's up to the individual. Ooh, there's a whole school of thought out there about women just like leaning back energetically and letting guys take the lead. Guys also like it when girls initiate. He might even like you, who knows? And maybe he's super shy and doesn't want to be the creep by reaching out, so he might appreciate it a lot. I don't think there's any harm in trying. If he's someone that you're meant to be with anyway, it's not gonna matter who asks out who first. You know what I'm saying? Another comment says, no, don't reach out to someone you barely know. If you can find him on a dating app, see if you match, but don't do that if you're not prepared for rejection. You can't just go on a dating app and be like, let me find this guy. Let me swipe through 2,000 people until I find him. I have tried that before in San Francisco when my best friend and I found a really hot cop and we're like, let's see if we can find him on Tinder. It was in like 2019. It didn't work. We didn't find him. That's not really realistic unless you're living in a town with like 10 people. You can't just serve someone up on a dating app. I don't think it's that bad. Like, it is a little bit weird to reach out to someone that you barely know, but like, I think he'll be flattered. I'm getting good vibes from this. He might not reciprocate, but he'll be flattered. It's fun to feed people's ego, and then you can move on and the universe will reward you by having someone else to feed your ego. Had it happen to me before. All right, next post. This one is in a very similar theme as the last one, or a very similar lesson from the last one. Rejection. Just got friend zoned by my crush after confessing. I can't stop thinking about her. I thought maybe stop connections with her. Any advice? I have a lot of advice about rejection. I have been rejected plenty of times in my life. I've also been not rejected plenty of times in my life. I've experienced it all. I've experienced all the things. Number one thing is don't take it personally. Like, don't let your mind spiral and be like, I'm too ugly, I'm not smart enough, my personality's not good enough. Maybe if I changed this about me, maybe if I didn't say this weird thing to them, like, don't let yourself spiral about that. And remind yourself that like, you don't like everybody, but that doesn't mean that like there's anything wrong with those people that you don't like. It's just not the vibe. And so it's okay that someone else doesn't feel that way about you. It can also be easy to spiral and think like, oh, I'm never gonna find love. I'm never gonna find somebody who reciprocates my feelings. And again, those are also limiting beliefs that you need to get rid of right now. Remind yourself that you are lovable. Is especially helpful if you have had previous romantic interactions, like been in a relationship or even a situationship, to remind yourself like, I've experienced this before, I will experience it again. It might not be right now, it might not be with this person. Until then, I love myself and I'm whole and complete on my own. I don't need romance in my life to be happy. One day I'll find somebody who reciprocates my feelings and it's gonna be so worth it. And I truly believe that rejection is divine protection. The universe knows more than you, and you can kind of tell yourself, you know, who knows if this is true or not, but I think it's helpful to think this way. If you did get in a relationship with this person, it might have been real bad, it might have been real toxic, or y'all wouldn't have been aligned, or would have been incompatible in some kind of way that years down the line would have ended up in a much worse heartbreak than what you're feeling right now. Tell yourself these stories that rejection is divine protection. I'm not meant to be with this person. The universe is keeping my energy open so that I can find someone that I'm so much more aligned with. Yeah, that's my advice, is don't let yourself believe any limiting beliefs. You know, of course, let yourself hurt and grieve. It's gonna sting in the beginning, so validate those feelings and emotions, journal about how it makes you feel, but don't get stuck in the limiting beliefs. Find all the limiting beliefs that you have about the scenario and flip them. Tell yourself affirmations like, I am beautiful, I am smart, the right person for me is gonna find me, and we're gonna be so aligned, and they're gonna be so in love with me, and I'm gonna be so in love with them, and I've experienced love before, I'm gonna experience it again, and just remind yourself of that. It won't hurt as much. Regarding your friendship though, I completely forgot when I first read this. I have been in this specific scenario before of being friend zoned by a friend that I had feelings for. I personally took space for a little while because I was like, I can't be around you right now. It's too much, too many feels going on. I would definitely recommend taking some space, however long feels intuitively right for you. You know, play it by ear, maybe a month or two. Then after some time passes, after you can feel that your emotions have settled down, then you can explore friendship again. And in my experience that I was mentioning, like I had to take some space and then my feelings did kind of settle down, and luckily, naturally don't like to, my heart is smart enough that it doesn't want to have feelings for someone who doesn't reciprocate. That alone was like, hey, okay, let's drop these feelings. Let's go back to being friends. Nothing's like weird or awkward anymore because there's no feelings there anymore. So it's like just a friendship now, which I'm very grateful for. That's not always going to be the case for everybody. This might be someone that you're like completely in love with and you can't just drop your feelings for them. In which case it might be necessary to take a bigger step back from your friendship and not really interact with them that much. Especially because what happens in the future when you get into a relationship and then your future partner is like, oh, so you have the hots for your friend. It's like Ted and Robin from How I Met Your Mother. Like it's a little bit iffy. I don't think your future partner is gonna appreciate that very much. So it might make sense to just completely kind of take a step back from the friendship. It all just depends on how your feelings evolve over time. Completely necessary if your heart can get to a place where you're like, you know what, actually, I was wildin'. I was whack. I don't know what I saw in them. And then you can just go back to appreciating their friendship. Yeah, let's see what the comments have to say. There's no such thing as the friend zone. She's simply not interested. If you only value her for what she can give you romantically and not as a human being, then by all means do her a favor and cut off the connection. Ouch. I don't think that that's always, I mean, there is an element of this, but like, I think it goes deeper than that. Like you can value their friendship immensely and see them as more than just a romantic being. You feel so much for them emotionally that you're like, this is too painful to be around you. And like, I want more from you. And if that's the case, then you might need to take space, or you just might need to take temporary space for those feelings to die off, and then you can appreciate the friendship. If you were friends first and then feelings developed later on, I think you can be friends again. At least that's how it was in my case. Take a break, like a few weeks, for your own sake. Let the facts sink in and recover. Don't ghost them, but you know, don't engage. If you want to be friends with them after you have figured yourself out, start doing things with them you would do with any of your friends. Okay, on to the last post. We're going to be reading a story from the Love subreddit, reading about someone gushing about their relationship so that we can all feel hopeful in love and raise our vibes. I love my boyfriend very much. An appreciation post for him. I absolutely love and adore my boyfriend and can't wait to share a life full of love with him. I used to dream about being with someone just like him, and he just stumbled along one day. We're long distance right now, but he does so much to make sure I'm all right. He sends me flowers often, and he'll send me food and treats too. He sends me these long paragraphs expressing his love and appreciation for me. He surprises me with video games we can play together, and he'll rent movies we can both stream and watch. He absolutely adores and loves me. Oh. And I can see it in his eyes whenever we look at each other on call. I'm the first and last person he texts in the day. This is so cute. Just as he is the first person for me. And even though he's so far away, he doesn't fail to make me feel loved and wanted and appreciated. Oh my gosh. I do my very best to make him feel just as loved and appreciated as he makes me feel. He's amazing and I love him so much. He really deserves the world and I'm so happy to call him mine. He's just a big, lovable teddy bear and I never ever want to hurt him. I feel so amazing knowing that I've had the opportunity to really get to know him on a deep personal level and be able to show him the love and support he deserves. Sorry for the rant, everyone. I just really love and appreciate this man. One of the comments says, "That's nice. How long have you been together?" And OP responds, "We've been dating for 2 years, but we've known each other for much longer. We always seemed to be what each other needed and were amazing friends and didn't decide to start a relationship until 2 years ago." Oh my god, I love that even more. I love a friends to lovers story. I love it a lot. The fact that they've been together for 2 years, like oftentimes you can read posts like this in the Love subreddit and be like, oh, they're just in the honeymoon phase. Like this, your jaded mind will be like, this isn't gonna last, it's gonna wear off, and you know, I'm sure they're gonna have fights and arguments and all kinds of awful stuff come up later, and it's just because they're on the honeymoon stage. But no, they've been together for 2 years and they've known each other even longer than that. They just, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Don't let any of those limiting beliefs come up where it's just like, oh, they'll get over that. They've been together for 2 years and I hope that these feelings last for them for a lifetime. We can only hope. And that wasn't a rant, that was a beautiful post about love, and oh, it makes me so happy. I love reading these posts and raising our vibes, remembering that love exists, that romance exists, that happy relationships exist, and that this series has had a lot of really heavy stories in it, ending them on these positive notes to give us all kind of like a vision of the future, that if you were single like I am, holding this vision of a relationship like this, a relationship that makes you feel this way. Like, I know reading this, it makes me feel so much love in my heart, and I can feel those feelings of being loved and wanted and appreciated. Like, oh, it's just, I can see myself in this scenario, minus the long distance. I definitely don't want that. I love reading these posts so much. I hope it lifts all of our vibes. And on that note, I'm gonna end the episode here. Thank you so much for watching. And if you wanna watch another episode of the Libra Love Lounge, you get the tea on other people's love lives, then you can watch another episode right over here. But until next time, I'm sending you so much love. Bye.